Hello everyone, I am Sidhvita, a member of Krino Forensics, and in this video we will be diving deep into a fundamental yet highly technical part of crime scene investigation, the crime scene forensic sketching. Now imagine entering a crime scene. Photographs are being clicked, evidence is being collected. But how do investigators record the relationship between them? The actual size, distance, and the position of every object or evidence. That's where forensic sketching steps in. So let's get started. A crime scene sketch is more than a simple drawing. It is permanent visual record that captures the layout of the scene, the placement of physical evidence, distance between the critical objects, and the relationship between the elements present. It doesn't replace photography, it complements it. While photographs can sometimes distort the angles or fail to capture the scale, sketches provide a clean, scaled, and measured depiction of the scene, often used in court presentations to reconstruct the events accurately. Let's look at what tools you will need while sketching. Pencil, sharpener, eraser, ruler and measuring tape, compass, clipboard and plain paper. These are the simple tools but essential for precision. Steps in sketching the crime scene. The process begins with observation and planning. Once that's done, outline the area and begin locating all the key evidences. Make careful measurements, record every detail, and label your sketch using ligand and scale. Here is a quick order you should follow. Observe and plan, outline the area, measure the distances, locate objects, record details, add scale and ligand. Identify with date, time, sketcher's name, weather conditions, and case information. Types of sketches. There are two primary kinds of sketches used in forensic investigations, rough sketch and final sketch. Rough sketch is the first draft drawn right at the scene. It's not usually to scale, but it includes all measured distances and location of evidence. This sketch captures the raw layout before anything is moved. Final sketch. Later, using a rough sketch and measurements, a clean scaled version is drawn. This is the version used in court. It must be free from clutter and never include the actual measurements written on the sketch. Perspectives in sketching. To give a complete picture, forensic sketches are drawn from different perspectives. Number 1, overhead view, also known as the bird's eye view, is the most commonly used. It's drawn as if you are looking directly from above. Number 2, elevation view or side view, which is used to show vertical placements like something found on wall or shelf. Note that both can be combined if needed and are sometimes enhanced with photographs. Measuring techniques. Now, when we prepare a crime scene sketch, our aim is not just to draw scene artistically. We need it to be scientifically accurate, and for that, proper measurement techniques are critical. There are 4 main techniques used to measure and document the location of physical evidence at a crime scene. Triangulation, polar coordinates, baseline or fixed line method, and the cross projection method. Each method has its own specific use depending on the scene's layout and the placement of the evidence. Let's go into each one in detail. First, triangulation method. Triangulation is one of the most commonly used and trusted methods in crime scene sketching. Here is how it works. Imagine you have 2 fixed reference points at the crime scene. These can be any permanent immovable objects like the corner of the room, a tree or lamp post. Once you identify these 2 fixed points, you measure the distance between them and that forms your base. Now to locate any item of the evidence, you measure the distance from both fixed points to the evidence. Think of it like forming a triangle. If you do this accurately, the position of that evidence can be precisely plotted on the paper. Triangulation is particularly effective in outdoor scenes or irregularly shaped scenes where you can't rely on straight walls or defined boundaries. It also reliable because if one measurement is incorrect, the triangle won't close properly, making errors easily to spot and correct. Next, polar coordinates method. The polar coordinates method works on the principle of direction and distance. Here, you select a single fixed reference point. From this point, you measure the straight line distance to the evidence, and you also measure the angle at which the evidence lies relative to a reference direction, usually north. You can think of this like using a compass. You stand at your reference point, then look at the evidence, measure the angle with a protractor or digital device, and then record how far away the evidence is in meters or feet. This method is very useful when dealing with circular scenes or like explosions. It also helpful when there is only one reliable reference point like one open fields or large halls. Advanced tools like laser measuring instruments can be used for this method to ensure high accuracy. Now, the baseline of X-line method. This method is very straightforward. First, you draw a straight baseline between two fixed reference points. This could be a wall or straight path. Once this baseline is established, you measure the perpendicular distance from the baseline to each item of the evidence. So imagine drawing a straight line through a room, say from one corner to another. Then from each piece of evidence, you drop a perpendicular to that baseline and measure how far along the line and how far out from it the evidence lies. This technique is best suited for indoor crime scenes, especially rooms with walls at right angles. It's simple, fast, and ideal when evidence is laid out in a structured environment. Sometimes we even use two perpendicular baselines to improve accuracy. This method is excellent for scenes where you need quick, clean measurements and when time is of the essence. Finally, the cross projection method. This method is also called extended coordinate method, and it's especially useful in three-dimensional scenes where evidence is not only on the floor but also on walls, ceilings, or other vertical surfaces. Here is how it works. Imagine you are unfolding a room like a cardboard box. You lay the floor flat, then unfold all the walls outward into the same plane. This way you can show the floor, the four walls, and the ceiling all together in a single sketch. Evidence on the walls, windows, or ceiling is measured and plotted on the extended surface. You record not just the horizontal distances but also the height of each item from the floor or ceiling. This method is extremely useful for violent crime scenes where evidence like blood spatter, bullet holes, fingerprints, or even writing appear on the vertical surfaces. It gives the investigator and the jury a complete visual of how scene is looked, including above ground evidence. Let's talk about the purpose of crime scene sketching. Why all is important? Because sketches are accurately portrays physical facts, clarify the sequence of events, establish precise locations of the objects, and they help in explaining the scene to judges, juries, and investigators. It also supports the witnesses' statements and provide a clear and permanent record. They are especially useful when photographs don't show the relationships clearly or when scenes change over time. So, forensic sketching isn't just art, it's science. It's methodical, precise, and crucial to presenting credible evidence in the court. Next time you look at a crime scene report, remember behind that simple sketch is a world of careful measurement and the scientific reasoning. I hope you enjoy the session. Please drop your comments below if you have any questions or if you want us to explain any forensic topic in future videos. We would be happy to cover them. And the presentation document will be shared on our social media platforms. You can directly access the document from there. For more information or queries, you can also reach out to us through our social media channels. Stay tuned for next video to learn with Krino Forensics. Thank you.